Ever wonder what it's like to take your final bow with the spotlight still literally on you? Today, we're counting down performers and actors whose lives ended in the middle of a show, a set, or a performance. Some of these are heartbreaking, some are bizarre, and one or two might genuinely give you chills. Christina Grimmie became a household name after her run on The Voice, where her powerful vocals and YouTube cover videos had already built her a massive following before the show even started. In June 2016, she was performing a concert in Orlando, Florida, as part of her first headlining tour. After the show wrapped, she stayed behind to meet fans and sign autographs, something she genuinely loved doing. A man who had attended the concert approached her in the meet and greet line and shot her multiple times at close range. Her older brother, who was nearby, tackled the shooter, who then turned the gun on himself. Christina was rushed to the hospital but passed away the next morning. She was only 22. Now let's go back a few decades to a tragedy that completely changed how Hollywood handles dangerous stunts. Vic Morrow was a respected actor known for his role in the TV series Combat. And in 1982, he was working on Twilight Zone, the movie, an anthology film based on the classic series. He was filming a sequence that involved a helicopter flying low over a river while explosions went off nearby. A genuinely dangerous setup, even by the standards of the time. During filming, the explosions damaged the helicopter's tail rotor, causing it to crash directly onto Morrow and two child actors who were on set with him, despite child labor laws that should have prevented them from being there that late at night. All three were killed instantly. The incident led to criminal charges against the director and producers, and it permanently changed safety regulations and child labor enforcement on film sets across the industry. From a film set tragedy to a music legend who went out doing exactly what he loved, Tiny Tim. Tiny Tim, the eccentric ukulele player famous for his falsetto rendition of Tiptoe Through the Tulips with Me, had a career full of ups and downs, but by the 1990s, he was still performing regularly for devoted fans. In November 1996, he was performing at a benefit concert in Minneapolis. Midway through his set, while singing his signature song, the very one that made him famous, he suffered a massive heart attack and collapsed on stage. He was rushed to the hospital, but died later that night. Next, we head into the world of professional wrestling for one of the most devastating nights in WWE history. Owen Hart. Owen Hart was a beloved WWE wrestler, part of the legendary Hart wrestling family, known for his technical skill and his comedic Blue Blazer superhero gimmick. In May 1999, during the Over the Edge pay-per-view event in Kansas City, Owen was set to make a dramatic entrance by being lowered from the arena ceiling on a harness, landing in the ring as part of his character's bit. The quick-release mechanism on the harness malfunctioned and released early, causing him to fall nearly 80 feet into the ring below, in front of a live audience and a pay-per-view broadcast. He died from the injuries shortly after. The event continued, which has been a point of controversy ever since. But Owen's death led to massive changes in how wrestling promotions handle aerial stunts and safety equipment. From the wrestling ring to the rock stage, here's a drummer who quite literally never stopped. Sib Hashian. Sib Hashian was the drummer for the rock band Boston during their massive 1970s success, playing on hit songs like More Than a Feeling and Peace of Mind. Decades later, in March 2017, he was performing as part of a Legends of Rock cruise, playing drums for an audience of fans who'd paid to see classic rock acts perform in an intimate setting. Mid-performance, he suddenly collapsed at his drum kit. Medical staff on board attempted to revive him, but he was pronounced dead from a heart attack. Many of his bandmates and fellow musicians said afterward that going out while playing music was, in a strange way, exactly how he would have wanted it. This next one is one of the most chilling entries on this list. A moment of joking around that turned into tragedy. Jon-Erik Hexum. Jon-Erik Hexum was a rising star in the mid-1980s, known for his good looks and his lead role in the CBS action series Cover Up. In October 1984, During a break in filming, Hexum was reportedly frustrated with delays on set. To pass the time, he picked up a prop revolver loaded with blank cartridges and, joking around with crew members, spun the gun and pressed it against his own temple before pulling the trigger. While blanks don't fire a bullet, they still release a wad of paper and gas under enough pressure to be lethal at close range. The impact fractured his skull and caused severe brain injury. He was placed on life support but never regained consciousness, and he died 6 days later at age 26. Hey, quick pause. If you're enjoying these stories, hit that subscribe button right now, because we've got way more wild "how is this real" moments coming up. Okay, back to the list. Now to something genuinely bizarre. A performance involving a live venomous snake. Irma Bule was a popular dangdut singer in Indonesia, a genre known for its energetic live performances that often include unusual or extreme acts to entertain crowds. As part of her show, she had developed a signature bit where she performed while a live cobra was draped around her neck and body, something she'd reportedly done many times before without issue. During a performance in West Java in 2016, the cobra bit her on the chest while she was singing. She initially continued performing, possibly unaware of how serious the bite was, but soon began feeling unwell and was rushed to the hospital. She died shortly after from the venom. This next story is almost impossible to believe because of how the audience reacted in the moment. Tommy Cooper. Tommy Cooper was one of Britain's most beloved comedians and magicians, famous for his deliberately bad magic tricks and his catchphrase, "just like that." In April 1984, he was performing live on a popular variety show called Live from Her Majesty's, broadcast to millions of viewers across the UK. Partway through his act, he suddenly collapsed on stage, his cape falling open as he fell. The audience, and even some crew members, initially burst into laughter, assuming it was part of his act, since falling over was a regular part of his comedy. By the time anyone realized something was seriously wrong, it was too late. He had suffered a massive heart attack and died shortly after, live in front of the studio audience and broadcast nationally. From comedy to one of the most controversial animal-related tragedies of the last 20 years. Don Brancheau. Don Brancheau was a senior orca trainer at SeaWorld Orlando with over 15 years of experience working closely with the park's killer whales. In February 2010, during a live show in front of an audience, she was interacting with Tilikum, the park's largest orca, who had a documented history of aggressive incidents. During the performance, Tilikum grabbed her and pulled her into the pool, resulting in her death. The incident led to major lawsuits, new safety regulations for trainers working with orcas, and became the central case study in the 2013 documentary Blackfish, which sparked a worldwide conversation about keeping orcas in captivity. Now, a quieter tragedy from the world of gospel music. Anthony Berger. Anthony Berger was a celebrated gospel pianist, known for his energetic playing style and his long association with the Gaither Homecoming series, a beloved gathering of gospel musicians that toured and recorded concerts together. In February 2006, during a Gaither Homecoming concert in Clarksville, Indiana, Berger was performing on piano when he suddenly collapsed at his instrument from a massive heart attack. He died shortly after, surrounded by fellow musicians and friends who had performed alongside him for years. Back to rock and roll for a freak accident during a sound check. Leslie Harvey. Leslie Harvey was the guitarist for the Scottish rock band Stone the Crows, which had a respectable following in the early 1970s blues rock scene. In May 1972, the band was doing a sound check before a show at Swansea's top-ranked club. While the venue's electrical setup was being tested, Harvey touched an ungrounded microphone, which sent a fatal electric shock through him in front of his bandmates. He died almost instantly. The tragedy effectively ended Stone the Crows, as the band struggled to continue without him and disbanded not long after. And now, one of the most famous high-wire deaths ever caught on camera. Karl Wallenda. Karl Wallenda was the patriarch of the legendary Flying Wallendas, a family of high-wire performers whose death-defying acts had thrilled audiences for decades, often performed without safety nets as part of their brand. In March 1978, at 73 years old, Wallenda attempted to walk a wire strung between the towers of two hotels in San Juan, Puerto Rico, more than 100 feet above the ground. Partway across, strong winds caused him to lose his balance. He tried to crouch down and grab the wire, but ultimately fell to his death, an event that was captured on video by news cameras covering the stunt. Despite the tragedy, the Wallenda family continued performing high-wire acts for generations afterward, viewing it as part of their legacy. Next up, a musician many people recognize from an unexpected acting role. Bruce Hampton. Bruce Hampton was a respected jam band musician and band leader in the Southern music scene, known for his improvisational style and his cult following. He also had a memorable supporting role as the basketball coach in the film Sling Blade. In May 2017, friends and fellow musicians organized a massive concert in Atlanta to celebrate his 71st birthday, featuring performances from major artists who'd been influenced by him. During the encore, with dozens of musicians on stage performing alongside him, Hampton collapsed. At first, the crowd thought it might be one of his theatrical bits, since he was known for dramatic stage antics, but he had suffered a cardiac arrest and passed away at the hospital later that night. Now to the world of opera for a death with eerily perfect timing. Leonard Warren. Leonard Warren was one of America's most acclaimed opera baritones, a star performer at the Metropolitan Opera in New York for decades. In March 1960, he was performing in Verdi's La Forza del Destino, The Force of Destiny, in front of a packed house at the Met. Just after singing a line about facing his fate, Warren suddenly collapsed on stage from a massive stroke. The audience initially didn't realize what had happened, but the performance was stopped, and he was pronounced dead shortly after. Our next entry is one of the most shocking onstage deaths in rock history, not from illness, but from violence. Dimebag Darrell. Dimebag Darrell was the guitarist for Pantera, one of the most influential heavy metal bands of the 1990s, known for his aggressive playing style and larger-than-life personality. After Pantera split, he and his brother formed a new band called Damage Plan. During their live show in Columbus, Ohio, a deranged fan stormed the stage and fatally shot him in front of the audience, just moments into the set. The shooter then took hostages before being killed by police. The metal world was devastated, and Dimebag is still remembered as one of the genre's greatest guitarists. Now, to alternative rock, for a frontman whose final show became the subject of an entire documentary. Mark Sandman. Mark Sandman was the frontman, bassist, and main songwriter for Morphine, a unique Boston trio known for using a two-string slide bass instead of a guitar, giving them a dark, smoky sound unlike anything else in 90s alternative rock. On July 3, 1999, Sandman collapsed on stage at a festival in Palestrina, Italy, near Rome, while performing with Morphine. According to bandmate Dana Colley, about 7 songs into the set, Sandman started buckling at the knees and then fell over backward, with his bass still booming as he hit the ground. He was 46 and was pronounced dead in the ambulance on the way to the hospital from a heart attack. His sudden death effectively ended the band. Sticking with metal, here's a guitarist whose final request was simply to turn off the lights. Mike Scaccia. Mike Scaccia was a respected metal guitarist, best known for his work with Industrial Legends Ministry, as well as his own band, Rigor Mortis, often praised as one of the fastest and most technically skilled players in the genre. In December 2012, Scaccia collapsed on stage in Fort Worth, Texas, during a performance with Rigor Mortis at a show celebrating the 50th birthday of the band's singer. Earlier accounts attributed the collapse to a seizure, with reports that he had asked for the venue's strobe lights to be turned off moments before he fell. But the official coroner's report ruled the cause of death was a heart attack brought on by underlying heart disease. Now let's head into the world of opera where the pressure on conductors can be just as deadly as it is for singers. Giuseppe Sinopoli. Giuseppe Sinopoli was one of the most respected conductors and composers in the world, having led legendary opera houses, including Milan's La Scala, the Metropolitan Opera, and Dresden's Staatskapelle. In April 2001, he returned to the Deutsche Oper Berlin to conduct Verdi's Aida, in what was meant to be a reconciliatory performance following a past dispute with the company's director. During the third act, Sinopoli suffered a heart attack at his conductor's rostrum, dropped his baton, and collapsed. Orchestra members helped him off stage, and he was taken to Berlin's German Heart Center, where he was pronounced dead the following day. Metin Aralat was a well-known Turkish singer and music video director with a long career in the Turkish pop and rock scene. In 2023, he collapsed on stage during a live performance in Istanbul after suffering a heart attack. According to local reports, Aralat had been experiencing pain and numbness in his hand, but chose to continue performing anyway, with friends suspecting his health had been affected by a strict diet. A nurse in the audience rushed to help and called emergency services, but Aralat died on the way to the hospital. And finally, a comedian whose death the audience initially found. Dick Shawn. Dick Shawn was a veteran comedian and actor, well known for his memorable role as the over-the-top Hitler-portraying actor in Mel Brooks's The Producers. By the 1980s, he was primarily doing stand-up and one-man shows, often incorporating physical comedy bits where he'd dramatically fall down on stage as part of the act. In April 1987, while performing at the University of California, San Diego, he collapsed mid-routine during a bit. Because falling down was such a regular part of his act, the audience laughed and assumed it was intentional, continuing to laugh for several minutes even as he lay motionless. He had suffered a fatal heart attack, and by the time anyone realized it wasn't a joke, he had already passed away. If you liked this video, smash that like button. And if you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that button plus the bell, so you don't miss the next one. We've got more crazy stuff coming. Drop a comment and tell me which one freaked you out the most, or if there's someone we missed that should have made this list.